As the Islamic State loses ground in Iraq and Syria, its followers are trying to open a new front here in Southeast Asia. Five weeks ago, militants loyal to IS seized control of this city. Government forces are still fighting to take it back. Over 4 days in Marawi, we watched airstrike after airstrike. Bombers overhead, diving towards their targets. They've been living through this here every day for more than a month now. There's no end in sight. We're pretty close to the front line here. The fighting is intense and it is sustained. It has been going on like this now for several hours. You can see the minarets of the mosque over there, which is where they think these militants are basing themselves. And this is part of the problem for the Philippines military. They train to fight these rebels in jungle conditions, but this is now close quarters urban warfare. They are fighting here now street to street, at times house to house. As the call to prayer echoes out across the city, we film more troops heading back to reload. Through the gunfire, you can hear loudspeakers broadcasting constantly, urging the rebels to surrender.
Because we can easily see how they move.
We're trying to reach a family we've heard is still in touch with relatives inside. but nowhere in the city is safe now.
Yeah, straight down to the blue vehicle and then directly across. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, everyone happy?
Hold on.
There's a danger from sniper fire in the street, so we have to line up and run across the road. Okay, right, let's go. As we reach the door, a bullet lands less than a metre from our team. It seems we're being targeted.
Every day, in the sniper, bullets, because we don't know what is the purpose of this multi-group, ISIS group, and that is why, till now, we feel nervous, trauma, especially the children.
We planned to stay inside until the sniper threat passed, but then a fire starts. The only way out is back the way we've come.
Okay, you ready? Alright. So, Becky, you're going to go first because you need to get into the back of the vehicle. Go.
I'll go in second.
Go. Okay. Get in. Close it off. Go. Go, boy, go. Stay down.
Further on and out of immediate danger, we see the reinforcements rolling in. A long convoy of armoured personnel carriers heading into the city. More soldiers packed onto trucks. Graffiti marks the route the militants took. ISIS slogans painted on the shutters. Above the street stalls, blackened bananas have been left to rot where they hang. Most of the 250,000 people who lived here have fled. We pass a dead dog abandoned in the road. They've set up checkpoints at every entrance to the city to search for men and ammunition trying to get in and any fighters trying to escape.
I'm the last two. They're the younger Malti.
So these are the Marawi brothers, the leaders of this group.
We are the founder of the Malti group.
The attack was led by two groups, the Mauti, led by brothers Omar and Abdullah, and Isnilon Hapalon, one of the FBI's most wanted terrorists, seen here is said to be planning the attack with Abdullah Mauti. Both groups have pledged their allegiance to the Islamic State. This region, with its poverty, lawlessness and the legacy of decades of conflict, is fertile ground for would-be new militants. This man's nephew was killed in Marawi fighting for the Mauti. He says there are many more like him.
Actually, sa Cotabato, mismo sa area namin is siguro pinakamababa 10. Mismo sa barangay namin. Actually, marami nang namatay sa itong nangyayari dyan. Marami siyang na-convince na babaeng mga bata, lalaki, babae, na mga bata.
In this video last June, IS called for those who could not reach Syria to head for the Philippines instead. A number of foreign fighters have already been found amongst the dead. Back in Marawi, to mark the end of Ramadan, a temporary ceasefire was declared, a brief humanitarian pause. A small group of volunteers armed with megaphones and religious leaders headed in towards the front line.
risking their own lives to try to save others, to try to bring some of those trapped to safety. But as we waited for news, shots were fired into our street.
This is meant to be a ceasefire. There are negotiators in there right now trying to get permission to bring these civilians out, but there are bullets coming down this street, so we're all just taking cover. Yeah.
Three hours later, the rescue teams returned. In the arms of one of the soldiers, a 14-month-old baby girl. Her bewildered family huddled in the back. They'd been hiding in a basement for 33 days. Dazed and exhausted, they still had to be interviewed by the military. But at least now they were safe. The father finally able to give his daughter fresh water to drink and to explain what they had been through. His wife had given birth to their second child while they were trapped. Their baby did not survive.
May bumabagsak, sir. Upo lang kami sa kwan, dumapa lang kami sa
Anong reaction ng baby pag every time na gano'n?
yung kwan umiyak.
In the back of an ambulance nearby, the body of a 72-year-old man. Hassan Ali had suffered a stroke. He died before he could be reached. Even as we filmed, the fighting resumed, the ceasefire over. One family rescued, now on their way to hospital, but how many more left behind? Katie Stallard, Sky News, Marawi City.